Yes, people. Welcome to another edition of All Things Wrestling right here on the Finished Article. And before we move any further, yesterday we actually released our number 200th video. So we're on now, this is 201. So appreciate everyone, everyone's support getting us this far. And we are pushing for subscribers, likes, comments, and all that good stuff. But without further ado, this is All Things Wrestling. And basically, this is just going to be me and Shaz talking shit about NXT and maybe a little bit of a few other things. But mainly, this is going to be talking about NXT 2.0, not the original NXT. Because there's a lot to talk about with NXT. There's a lot to talk about. So before I actually get into it and forget, I'm going to bring my boy on so we can actually do it together. Yes, bro. How are we? I'm like this lovely boxing day today, lad.
Good, bro. You tell me how's things.
All good, man. All good. Absolutely freezing, but shit happens, innit? Standard stuff.
Fair enough.
But yeah, man. So I'm gonna go straight into this, bro. NXT 2.0. Like, what are your actual thoughts on NXT 2.0, bro?
Absolutely confused as fuck. That's why I put the banner up there.
Yeah.
Literally, I know we covered this a couple of months back. So from the original black and gold branding that it went to this colorful shit that is now looking like basically a ripoff of AEW. Version of it.
Yeah, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong.
I don't really understand what the fuck has happened. I think literally, my guess is that Triple H and Shawn Michaels aren't part of the gig anymore because it's just gone downhill.
Yeah, so basically, from what I understand, Vince McMahon wasn't happy that NXT got beat by AEW in ratings because they were both on Wednesdays at that point and they were competing. NXT lost though that ratings war, and it was always going to lose that ratings war because NXT is classed as WWE's development territory. And it always will be on as long as Vince McMahon's around. Do you get what I mean? And Vince McMahon wasn't happy with obviously NXT losing that ratings war to AEW Dynamite. They switched up to Tuesdays for NXT and all that. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's the main reason NXT's changed. Like Vince McMahon's like, he's told Triple H that I'm taking control. Everything that happens in everything now WWE wise is through Vince McMahon, whereas NXT was Triple H taking charge of everything, and you can tell the difference. So NXT Gold and Black was brilliant, right? That was the best part of WWE for me. That was the gold, black and gold NXT was the best part of WWE until Vince McMahon changed it. And it's sad to see that it's changed into this colorful rainbow unicorn shit, whatever it is, logo. And yes, you've got some of the old guard there. Well, when I say some, all you've got is Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, I was about to say he's probably the only.
What do you call him? Undisputed Era have left, all three of them. Johnny Gargano's just left. You've got Ciampa left there, and maybe a couple of other people that used to be around before, like LA Knight. I know he's still fairly new, but he was there back then. Legado del Fantasma, I think that's a great stable. If they ever got moved to Raw or SmackDown, they will be destroyed, just like Hit Row were. Hit Row made one appearance on SmackDown without B-Fab because she got sacked straight away, and then the rest of them just got sacked as well. It was just a shit show from going on SmackDown. They were gone within 2 weeks. They made one appearance. I don't even think they wrestled, and that was it. They were gone. That's what Vince McMahon does with his talent. He built Hit Row. Hit Row was built in NXT. Hit Row wasn't around before NXT. Like Isaiah Swerve Scott, I don't know the other guy's name, Adonis, I think he's called, and Top Dollar. They weren't a team, you know. It was just they were all singles wrestlers in NXT. They got put together as Hit Raw. They absolutely smashed it in NXT. They were really over with the crowd. They got moved to SmackDown. They got rid of their manager, which was B-Fab. And then just randomly, they all got sacked one by one. And I thought that was a real shit show on WWE's part.
Well, yeah, just to jump in on
We've got about 1 million comments, Shaz, so I'm just going to go through a couple of these from my boy Kev. Hey guys, yo Kev, how's it going? Sorry I've been gone for so long. No worries, bro, no worries. AEW technically has less ratings. So for Raw, against Raw, AEW has less ratings, you're right. But against NXT, it has more. And that's what the problem was, that Vince McMahon wasn't happy that Dynamite was beating NXT, which I can understand if it was Raw or SmackDown getting beat by Dynamite, right? But it's NXT. It's your, as Vince McMahon calls it, your development territory. So why are you worried if AEW's main show is beating it? This is your development.
That makes no sense.
This is your development roster, if you want to call it that.
That makes no sense.
Tony made it up. Tony made what up? Sorry, Kev. Are you talking about the ratings versus Dynamite? Dynamite and NXT. That wasn't made up. Those are facts. Like, you can go online and Google the ratings for AEW Dynamite and NXT and see who actually won. It's facts. You can Google that yourself, bro. It's crap. Mandy Rose is champion. Yep. Mandy Rose is the NXT Women's Champion. I don't see NXT doing much right now. The last pay-per-view or takeover they did was War Games. I actually really enjoy War Games, right? It's one of my favorite type of matches because it only happens basically in NXT once a year. And this year was, to me, it felt like it was a really watered down version of War Games. And when I say that is, in War Games, when all competitors for both teams are in the rings, right, they're supposed to get a roof on top of the cages so you can't climb out. But that didn't happen. Now, that roof is supposed to have weapons dangling on it as well. That didn't happen. Yeah, tables were brought in, kendo sticks were brought in, which is fine. But where was the roof?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I get AEW aren't allowed to use the War Games name, but they did their own version of it called Blood and Guts. And I think they've only done it once. And it was the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. It was during the lockdown at some point. And I thought that was a really good paper. I thought that was a really good match as well. I think AEW pulled it off really well. But NXT-wise, War Games was just, I don't know, it just felt really bad to me. The one thing I really liked about it was being able to see Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa team up again and on the same team as DIY.
Yeah, correct.
Now, I know, Shaz, like, how far back did you start watching NXT?
How far back did I stop watching it or
start watching? Sorry. When did you start watching NXT? Like,
when I start.
What do you remember, like, the first episodes being that you watched?
Oh, that's a while back. I remember it when it was back in the day when Finn Balor originally debuted.
All right, okay. Before he even became Universal Champion.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been watching it quite a long time. That's good. So
yeah.
And so you do remember DIY, the team, don't you? Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah.
Now, the rumor was that they were splitting up DIY to push them one to Raw and one to SmackDown. Now, Gargano and Ciampa both refused to be moved to Raw or SmackDown. They wanted to stay in NXT because that's where that's where they were made, basically, for WWE. Yeah, they were good outside of NXT before they joined NXT. Don't get me wrong. But in WWE, they were made in NXT and they wanted to stay there because, let's be honest, when you get moved to Raw, SmackDown and you're that size, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. I mean, look what they did to Karrion Kross. That's just an example. But NXT, Shaz, I get why, obviously, Vince has made some changes, right? He wants younger people there. He wants, like, the younger people so he can develop their own, like WWE can develop their own stars, basically. Which I understand why. Like, you're investing money in people to train them up. So, yeah, let them be younger so you can actually use them in the bigger shows like Raw and SmackDown. That's a good move business-wise. But why did you need to change it to 2.0? And all this color stuff? Just leave it as black and gold and leave Triple H in charge and let him develop them. Like, he's still there, yeah. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and all them are still the coaches and stuff down in NXT. They still run pretty much everything. But I think storyline wise, gimmick wise, that all goes through Vince McMahon.
You know what? I was about to jump in on one of the things you said about why they went 2.0. I mean, for me, I think this has just literally been a rash decision. So obviously, we all know, and it's no hidden secret that AEW has now officially taken over as the promotion to watch. WWE is literally just pure shit, apart from the Bloodline and Brock Lesnar, and the fact that you can extend Raw by 3 hours basically just says that you're just bored and you haven't got enough to cover within 2 hours. Storyline wise, it's just gone shit. I mean, my context on NXT is that I used to enjoy watching it because it was a bit like AEW. So it was a bit of a flavor. There was a bit of happening. That when NXT invaded Raw and SmackDown for Survivor Series a few years back, absolutely loved that. That was a great angle, but obviously that died down. I think after one year, that didn't make sense. But like I said, this has been basically killing the goose.
I mean, I want to give you an example, right? I don't know why, but WWE loves splitting up tag teams, right? Now,
correct.
I'm going to go down a list of tag teams that they've split up, and I still don't understand the reasoning behind it. The Hardy Boys, they split them up. The Dudleys, they split them up. Edge and Christian, they split up. I can understand why, because they both were singles wrestlers, right? That's not really an issue, that one. Crime Time, they were an amazing team, but they got split up. Rest in peace to Shad. They ruined the Ascension.
Yes.
Right. I watched the Ascension start off in NXT. Right. And to this day, the Ascension are still the longest reigning NXT tag team champions in history of NXT, right? No one's beaten that record, and no one will. And they were used in such a bad way on the main roster. Like, they could have made them into such a good tag team. Like, they could have pushed them, being very dominant. They ruined them.
Sure.
They are on the independent scene as a team. I can't remember what they're called there now, but they are on the independent circuit. Another team that got moved to the main roster that got ruined was one of my favorite teams in NXT, the Authors of Pain. Right? I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
Their manager, Paul Ellering, he did his job perfect with them. But then when they got moved to Raw, they got rid of him. And that's when it went, it just went downhill. Like, these guys, if you look at the sheer size of these guys, bro, right, and then look at the tag team division. Is there a team that you think that could beat people that size? There isn't, unless you have Big E in the team in the New Day, maybe. Maybe a Randy Orton could beat them because it's the Legend Killer, isn't he? So it's just these stupid little things that WWE did. I mean, the Authors of Pain were at one point with Seth Rollins during the start of the lockdown, and I actually enjoyed that because they were being pushed with a main eventer. I just felt that they weren't used properly, and then they just disappeared and got sacked. It's like, I really do want to see them though team up. If they came into AEW or Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling, they would be used properly as for their size.
Yeah, correct.
We've got another million comments going down the side here, Shaz, from Kev. So I'm just going to go through a couple. So this is about NXT and Tony Khan and all that. He's saying he won in the most technical term, it's like winning off points in a boxing match. I don't count it. How Tony beat them in ratings in Canada, so he beat them in ratings. It wasn't just in Canada that NXT got beat by AEW. It was the numbers for across America and across Canada, and it was the key demographic between, I think it's 18 years to 45 or 49 years is the key demographic for wrestling. AEW beat NXT, and it was always going to do it because the NXT isn't pushed as heavily as Raw and SmackDown, right?
Correct.
You don't have who was the champion back then, Karrion Kross or Finn Balor or Tommaso Ciampa right now. You don't have them being pushed the same way Roman Reigns is pushed on SmackDown or the same way Big E is pushed on Raw. You don't see that, and you never will, because Vince McMahon hates. It's like he just hates NXT, and he's just going to shit on it all the time because it's not what he created. His version of NXT, Shaz, if you remember what NXT was before it was a weekly show, was you had your pros and then you had your rookies teamed with them, and they did competitions, and then you'd have a winner and all that crap. It was Triple H that took it from that and turned it into a weekly show with people you've never even heard of, bro. There was you had Tyson Kidd, Seth Rollins, Corey Graves was a wrestler back there at the start of it. Neville was a wrestler. He started off in NXT. Do you know what I mean? It's just they've built so many stars through NXT that got moved to the main roster and just never got used properly. Besides Seth Rollins, the Shield, right? They were a creation of NXT, and they're the only creation from NXT that I can think of that has absolutely smashed it in Raw and SmackDown. Besides Finn Balor. Finn Balor from NXT went to Raw and became the first Universal Champion, but since then his career has just stagnated and then just gone downhill in WWE. I don't think there's another NXT superstar that's probably done as well as what do you call him? The Shield. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, you can count on him. He did well as part of the Wyatt family and then moved on to singles. And Big E. I don't think a lot of people know, but Big E was an NXT superstar first before he joined.
Yeah, he was.
Before he joined Raw, SmackDown, and then joined the New Day. He was actually called Big E Langston. And he actually started off on SmackDown as the bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler.
Yes,
how many times have we seen that storyline now? Shawn Michaels had Diesel. Dolph Ziggler had Big E. AJ Styles has just had a almost turn on him as well. And that's another shit show that I want to talk about. Like, there's just so much wrong across the board in WWE. We've got some more comments here from Kev. They mostly only beat them in Canada. Like I said, I disagree with that. So good job. That's like saying New Japan beats WWE if everyone watched WWE and only people from Japan watch New Japan. No, that's not what it means, man. That's not what it means, though. In America, you have the option of being able to watch Raw or SmackDown or, AEW or NXT on a Wednesday on TV. So you've got the USA Network for NXT, and you have TNT, which is on actually less providers, but on TNT, AEW, and they're moving to TBS from January. But you can't say what you've just said in that comment. That doesn't make sense at all, because in America, they can watch either or. It's not like just in Japan you watch New Japan. People in Japan watch WWE. People in Japan watch AEW. People in the UK, where we're from, watch both of them. I watch like WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I watch a bit of every promotion. So that comment is not valid at all. Sorry, pal. I disagree with that one. But I do agree with this bit. Vince McMahon's whole thing is TV. That's the thing with Vince McMahon. He's more like a guy who runs a reality TV show. No, it's not reality TV at all. It's what they call sports entertainment. It's a very key word because AEW don't class themselves as a sports entertainment brand. They class themselves as a pro wrestling company. Whereas WWE are always going to be under the banner of sports entertainment because that's what they do. They do sports with entertainment mixed in it, which the storylines, and the bullshit that we don't really like from Vince. So that is a major difference between AEW and WWE. One's a sports entertainment company, one's a pro wrestling company, and you can't compare them. It's like comparing Ronaldo to Messi. You can't compare them. Am I right though, Shaz? I know you laughed at that, but it's true though, isn't it?
It's just funny how you threw that analogy. No, I would agree with that. I mean, a lot of what you've just said makes sense. I think the problem that's got blurred up within the lines is Vince is basically having to compensate for the fact that he's making stupid decisions.
Yeah, no,
It's just
exactly,
literally, you know, just when you just think you're doing something right, but you're not, and but you oblivious to the fact that you're shitting on your own doorstep.
Yeah,
That's what it is, really.
I mean, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch Rampage from last night.
I haven't watched it, no.
No, I won't mention it then because I don't want to obviously ruin it for you. We've got another bot just signed in. Just give me a sec. They're getting blocked. That user's getting blocked. Unfortunately, we do get bots in the chat just leaving stupid messages, so I've had to block that one. But yeah, man, do you know what I'm actually really enjoying on Raw right now? Edge and Miz.
Okay, yeah.
I really enjoy watching the Miz. Like the Miz on the mic to me is really, really good. But having him go up against Edge, it's just another level because you've seen the tension building up now between Edge and Miz. And Edge almost speared Maurice, and Maurice slapped the Miz in the face for putting her in the way. But then the week after, she comes on Edge's show, The Cutting Edge, and it was all the plan, basically. It was all a plan between Miz and Maurice, and it's just classic Miz and Maurice that they do this stuff all the time. It's what they're known for. And I've got a feeling that Edge's wife is going to get involved, Beth Phoenix, because she's a commentator over on NXT. I've got a feeling that she's going to get involved in this storyline because Miz and Maurice are always just, they're going to outnumber Edge, so he's going to bring his wife into it. I've got a feeling anyway. It might not happen, but I'd like to see it because it's bringing real couples into the business, isn't it? And I think it's really good that they can do things like that. It's like you'll never see Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch teaming up as a couple, even though everyone knows they're a couple. I mean, they've both talked about their kid on TV in separate segments, but they've never, they don't mention them as, a couple on TV.
Yeah.
And they don't mention, is it Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso and his wife, Naomi? They don't mention them as a couple. They don't mention Montez Ford and his missus as a couple, Bianca Belair. They just don't mention, people as couples when they can do. I mean, I think AEW have already mentioned that. I think it was on the first day Adam Cole turned up that he's with Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he took a shot at Tony Schiavone for being friends with her straight away. It's like it's little things like that AEW are doing that make it a little bit better to watch because they're not trying to pull the wool over the fans' eyes. They don't think we're stupid. Whereas WWE are trying to hide those things for whatever reason. And they're trying to think that, we don't read the news. We don't see what's on Twitter. We don't see what's on Instagram. We don't see what's on Facebook. Like, all we do is watch WWE and then we go to sleep for a week and watch the next episode. Huh. You know what I mean? It's like we wake up to watch Raw, then we go to sleep. Wake up and watch NXT, then go to sleep. Then we wake up and watch SmackDown, and then go to sleep till Raw. It's like Vince McMahon and WWE must think that the fans are stupid in the way that they do things like that. I think it's really stupid, man.
Yeah,
I understand that's how it used to be, Kev, right? Now, I'm glad you said that because it used to be that way when there was no internet, right? And it was easy for WWE to hide things like that when there was no internet because you'd only see what they want you to see on TV. And that's it. You don't get to see what's backstage. You don't get to see their relationships backstage. But now, in this day and age, when you've got social media and you've got the internet, and the wrestlers themselves are posting things that they're in a relationship with such and such online, the fans are going to see that. And for WWE not to use that and make the fans think that it's not real, it's just stupid. It's like, do you think we're stupid?
they're playing it the advocate way of saying, "Oh, everyone's stupid," but they're not really.
Exactly. And I get Kevin's point here. So I disagree with this bit. And it used to be you could only watch WWE. Did you forget about WCW? Did you forget about NWA? Did you forget about them promotions? NWA is probably older than WWE. WCW came about around, WCW was competing with WWE for how many years, Shaz? 5, 6 years? They competed with WWE and they beat WWE 84 weeks in a row in TV ratings under Eric Bischoff. Yeah, NWA, fair enough. They're not even the biggest promotion WWE have gone against, though. WCW was probably more of a threat than anybody to WWE. Impact Wrestling has tried so hard to be a threat, but I think Vince just laughs at them.
Yeah, WCW were
I think
much.
right now, though, you can see AEW trying to compete with WWE. But like I said, they're a pro wrestling company and this is sports entertainment. So, like I said, you can't really have a rivalry between two companies that aren't in the same genre, if that makes sense.
Very true. Very true.
No, hold on. Kev has said TNA was a threat in their early years. I would say after 2015, they were dead. Like, no more of a threat. No, they haven't been a threat for a very long time. When TNA started, they were basically doing what AEW have done right now. They were being edgy. They were signing anybody that left WWE and just chucking them into the main event, like Kurt Angle, Christian. They had Sting turn up there. They did make some of their own talent, don't get me wrong. They had AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Kazarian, Bobby Roode, James Storm, and they had a long list of talent there. But they were never a threat to WWE. They weren't that big, and they never have been. I mean, since AEW has started, I think they're bigger than Impact or TNA has ever been. Mm-hmm. Just because they've got more money behind them than TNA have ever had. TNA went downhill when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff turned up and just rinsed them for money. And then you had you had Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, come X-Pac just for the money. At one point, they had Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg team up as the James Gang. Because what do you call him? The Road Dogg's real name is Jesse James, right? No, Brian James, sorry. And Billy Gunn, his real name is Kip Sop, right? But apparently, as what they did is they trademarked the name Kip James and made it look like they were brothers, having the same surname and teaming up as a team. But it got worse than that, Shaz, right? I don't know if you understand. So TNA changed the name of the team of the James Gang to VKM, which are the initials of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, right? Okay. And they did this for a very specific reason. They named the team Voodoo King Mafia. They just to give it a weird name, just for using Vince McMahon's initials and then giving it a weird name that was just weird in itself. But then they were taking shots saying VKM versus VKM. This is a war from us to you, Vince. That's how bad TNA got. And Vince didn't even take him seriously, bro. I mean, Kurt Angle mentioned TNA once Do you remember when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens got sacked from
Oh yes,
SmackDown
yeah,
and
yeah, I
turned up on
remember.
Raw? And
And said
Kurt
he,
Angle said, "Oh, I think TNA are hiring." That's
yeah,
the only time WWE have ever mentioned them on TV. We've got a comment from the Underground Temple. Triple H not in charge of the new NXT 2.0, and neither are his team. The old NXT we saw is now dead. Yeah, Triple H isn't in charge, but Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, and everyone are still coaches, and they still train like the wrestlers down there. They're probably not put as big in the TV production area. I think Vince has now taken over that side of it.
yeah, they lost the influence there. But I absolutely agree with that.
Hold
I
on.
think
No, this never happened, Kev. People never thought WWE was trash and then started watching Impact Wrestling. That never happened. It was the other way around. People watched Impact and thought, this is shit, and went back to WWE. That's what happened there. But man, I've had a huge rant about wrestling, bro. I'm gonna let you take over for a little bit. I'm gonna go grab myself a drink, bro.
yeah, you carry on.
You just talk your shit about everything and everything, bro. I'll be back.
Go for it. You know what? It literally just hits it on the nail on the head when they keep saying stuff like this NXT 2.0 is actually good. I think like we've said it all along, this is a dying brand and it needs a change. The only way it's going to get a change is simply because it needs to understand that they're losing superstars, they're losing viewers. I'm not surprised with that. They can't compete with it, AEW. And really, it's like Shaz has said, Impact Wrestling and all these lot never really stood a chance. But AEW is actually a credible force in the industry right now for competition. And this is where Vince, I don't know who's managing the team, but it's just shocking. And I think something badly needs to change. Otherwise, they might as well kill the goose now and just everyone to AEW because there'll be nothing left to watch. Hell, you might even see the bloodline over in AEW. No, mine. I know what happened, but I've seen stranger things happen.
We've got a really interesting comment from Underground Temple here, Shaz. I just want to bring it up.
Yeah,
so NXT lost to AEW in the Wednesday Night Wars. Reason why we have 2.0, Vince is sabotaging Triple H because they lost. You wonder why Triple H had a cardio event. Yeah, Vince wasn't happy that NXT lost to AEW, like we mentioned before, right?
Yeah.
But you have to understand the reason they lost is because AEW Dynamite is basically their main show.
Exactly.
Where NXT, where you have NXT, it's not WWE's main show. Vince has always seen it as a development territory or a development brand. And that's why, do you know what I mean? That's why they lost. And that was always going to happen because Vince wasn't pushing NXT at all. If Vince was taking that war seriously between NXT and AEW, he would have sent more talent down to NXT to help with the ratings. But he never did. He never took them seriously. We've got another comment. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, William Regal, and his team should buy Ring of Honor and get out of there quick. Do you know what? I would love that. I would love Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Regal, and them lot to buy Ring of Honor and put money into Ring of Honor. I would absolutely love that because I think it would be done properly. I think Shaz, that comment there, if you can just see that. What do you think of that comment?
Triple H.
Do you think that's a good idea?
Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Roman Reigns, and his team should buy Ring of Honor and get out there quick. I can see it happening. I think
I'd love to see it, but I don't think Triple H would do that to Vince because he's his son-in-law. I just don't see him doing it, man.
But then Vince should be handing it over to Triple H to say, okay, look, I've done all I can. Now you take over because right now I think Vince is trying his best, but he's suffering badly.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I do remember this. I do remember you actually did hate AEW, and the fact that you actually like it a bit now means that you're not happy with WWE and you've decided to watch AEW and you actually like it more compared to you like WWE, right? And this is exactly the same thing that happened to this guy sat right next to me over here, this co-host, right? He would not watch AEW, right? Do you know how I actually got him into AEW is by making him watch CM Punk's debut on Rampage straight after we watched 3 to 4 hours of WWE SummerSlam live. We watched 5 hours, of SummerSlam live. And I was just drained, bro. I'm like, you know what? Before you leave, before you actually go to sleep, I'm making you watch something. I made him watch 15 minutes of Rampage where CM Punk debuted. And he actually enjoyed that 15 minutes of AEW more than the 5 hours of SummerSlam that we watched.
Yeah, that was 5 painful hours, bro. That was 5 painful. I mean, I still remember. I still got nightmares about it now. I was like, probably the only good thing about SummerSlam was Brock Lesnar coming back, Becky Lynch coming back. That was it.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Shaz. I didn't really like SummerSlam. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I think it was really bad.
Oh yeah, it was.
We've got another comment here. I always stress the argument when people say mostly the WWE drones on social media saying AEW pick up WWE X stars, but once upon a time, didn't WWE pick up everyone's favorite indie guys? They did, yeah, 100%. Finn Balor was an indie guy. AJ Styles was an indie guy. Do you know what I mean? They took them from the indies and put them into WWE. Seth Rollins is an indie guy. Dean Ambrose was an indie guy. The only person I can think of that wasn't really an indie guy was Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't an indie guy, but quite a lot of the talent in WWE used to be on the indies. That's where they got noticed. Samoa Joe was another one.
Absolutely.
Robert Roode. Do you know what I mean? MSK in NXT. You know, they were in Impact Wrestling and they were on the indies. We've got another few comments here. About 80% of WWE stars that are employed are ex-indie guys. So when people say AEW say they pick up all the ex-WWE guys, isn't just a stupid comment. But it is. I think it is. I'm going to tell you why. Because fair enough, right? AEW signed people that have left WWE, right? And the reason they're doing it is because they're trying to prove that we can use these people better than you.
Yeah.
Like, look how WWE used Rusev, in WWE, right? They absolutely humiliated him in that storyline with Lana and Bobby Lashley. That's his real life wife, right? You don't do that to someone, right? If you think he's gonna sign a new contract with your company after you've done that to him, you must be smoking something really good, right? Now, the way that AEW have used Miro since he signed there, I think has been really good. He was undefeated for quite a while. He was TNT champion, and I think his first loss, correct me if I'm wrong, came to Sammy Guevara when he lost the TNT championship. I think that was his first loss.
Mm-hmm.
Look how they've used Adam Cole since he's come. Yeah, he hasn't been pushed into the main event, but he doesn't need to be pushed into the main event. Adam Cole can draw more money for AEW than most of the roster without even having the title. Like, if just listen to the crowd reaction on his entrance when he does the boom or the Adam Cole, whatever he does, the crowd love it. And I just want to say one thing. There was people actually saying that the Undisputed Era aren't over. And it was the Undisputed Era's fault that AEW beat NXT in the ratings war. And that's the biggest pile of shit I've ever heard, right? If the Undisputed Era aren't over, watch AEW Dynamite and watch Kyle O'Reilly debut alongside Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and listen to the reaction. Listen to the fans chant Undisputed and tell me that they're not over. That's a lot of bullshit that they're not over, man. A lot of bullshit.
It's all politics. They know they're over. They're just trying to deny it. It's like they don't want to admit what's true. I think
that comes from all these. Those comments have come from people that prefer or will only ever prefer WWE. So, the people that I always call the WWE marks. And you're always going to have the AEW marks as well, who, if you say something bad about AEW, they'll bite your head off, bro. It's just, every company has it. It's like if you say something about Man United, that you'll have some fans that will just rip your head off for saying it. Do you get what I mean? But then you've got the realists like me and you who know what's right and what's wrong about what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you just read this comment, Shaz, and you can answer this.
WWE are in the trash with their creative, but they're not going anywhere because their money drawn. Where AEW bring us long-term booking, where WWE don't.
Very true.
I agree with that. I think that the first sentence is bang on. Creative at WWE is
couldn't have said it better myself. To be fair,
I trash is being nice. I would say fucking shit. That's
I think he's just being polite, bro, in the comments.
You're being too polite there, mate.
Just so you know, you don't need to be polite in the comments.
Yeah,
this is the finished article channel. This is the finished article, all things wrestling. It's no holes barred. It's hardcore wrestling over here, people. You can say it as it is. You don't need to sugarcoat it. Just so you know,
it's shit. AEW, I think, since I've got into it, obviously naturally got hooked onto it. So much so that you can tell how much people are really interested in it. WWE, me, I think you might as well say rest in peace right now. They might as well said it when the Undertaker went and lost his streak, but I'm not going to get into that now because that'll be another 3 hours of me ranting on the Undertaker and why he should it. But
so AEW said, so Kev says he hates AEW because of their fan base. Right, and I don't understand that because on the flip side, WWE have the same type of fan base. If you say something bad about WWE, they'll bite your head off, just like the AEW fans will bite your head off if you say anything bad about them. So if you don't like AEW for that reason, why do you like WWE when their fans are the same thing? But anyway, this is a comment that I actually really like. Adam Cole will be there in the world title soon, long-term booking. 100% agree with that. 100%. Like I said, Adam Cole doesn't need to be thrown into the world title picture straight away. I think what is going to happen is you saw the friction between the Young Bucks and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly straight off the bat. And I think at the start, they're going to team up together. It's going to be the Undisputed Era and the Young Bucks as a group of 5 for a while. Kenny Omega's going to come back. Then there's going to be friction between Omega and Cole for the leadership. And that's when they're going to split into 2 groups of 3. And then that feud itself, the Elite versus Undisputed Era, is just going to be off the chain, bro. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. So Kev says, not really. Like, people don't full go on to AEW. With WWE. Yes, they do. I know of WWE fans that will bite your head off if you say that they've done something wrong. So I disagree with you. That's just fans for you. Community are fickle, as Bryan Danielson says, 100%. And you know what? I'm actually really enjoying the heel Bryan Danielson. Now, that must come as a shock to Shaz because he knows, like, when towards the end of his WWE run, I hated him. I absolutely despised him because he was just thrown down your throat all the time. He was given title shot after title shot after title shot after title shot. And you can say the same thing in AEW. He's had a title shot against Adam Page and lost, and now he's getting a rematch in about 2 weeks on the 5th of January. I think it's the first Dynamite on TBS, so that's probably why they're trying to make it a big deal, which I understand. But I understand why he's getting that title shot, and I think after that title shot, I think that's where he's going to get his first loss in January. I think that's where Daniel Bryan will need to get his first loss. Adam Page continues as champion, and then Daniel Bryan starts having programs with other people. If Daniel Bryan wins, I'd be very surprised because AEW had their world champion, and he's a champion for a long time. Like Chris Jericho was a champ for a while. John Moxley was for a while, Kenny Omega was for a while, and if it's different for Adam Page, I don't think it will be. I'm just going to get through these last few comments, Shaz, and then obviously we do need to wrap up soon. I like to go off on Insta on my reviews, guys. I'm a UK dude from Manchester, so I can say the F-bombs. So we're from Lancashire, so it's not too far from Manchester, dude. So yeah, if by all means, if you want to jump on if you want to jump on with us and get your views across and go off on a tangent, by all means, you can.
Absolutely.
By all means, join us. I'm just trying to find that. So drop me an email at that email address below, or just drop us a message on the socials at the bottom on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll work something out and we can get you on the show. I'd love to hear your views on stuff. We've got some more comments here. AEW aren't perfect, and I'm a mark. Not every company can be perfect. 100%. And I've always said this. AEW aren't perfect. They've made mistakes. But the difference is, with their mistakes, they laugh them off on TV. Like the whole thing with Moxley and Kenny Omega with the blast in the ring. They laughed it off after, and they just moved on. WWE just act like things never happened. I like this comment. MJF beats Hangman Page for the world title. I would love that. I know a lot of people hate MJF, and that's good because that's his character. But I think on the mic in AEW, he's really good. In ring ability, he's good as well. And I think he is, as they say, is one of the pillars of AEW's future. What's this? Jungle Boy beats Cody for the TNT title. Then Adam Cole takes the title off Jungle Boy. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can actually see that happening. That's very... most of my top 10 matches are from Bryan Danielson. He is one of the best in the world now. I think his work is amazing. You're not wrong. In-ring ability, Bryan Danielson is one of the best. And I've always said his in-ring work is brilliant. And I think when he started off, he wasn't as good. But I think he was trained by probably one of the best, wrestlers I've watched is Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels trained Bryan Danielson at the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy in Texas. That's where he was trained. But yeah, sorry, Shaz. I know I've gone off on loads about wrestling here. People mourning about a 60-minute time limit draw. How can you mourn about that? These fans make my eyes bleed. That match itself was probably one of the best matches I've seen in a very long time.
I would agree.
The Iron Man match between Bryan Danielson and Adam Page. It was just start to finish. It was just full of action. And I thought they told a good story in that match. Now, appreciate, obviously, Underground Temple in the comments. I appreciate Kevin in the comments. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. We are gonna end the show now. But as I said, if you want to jump on the show, Underground Temple, the socials are at the bottom. You can hit me up personally on mine, which is here. Shaz's is on his stream. And at the bottom below our streams, you've got our Facebook and Twitter. Hit us up on anything. Let us know if you want to jump on the wrestling show with us. And, we can get you on and you can have them on, even if it is for 60 minutes. I don't mind. But again, appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate the love and support. And until next time, Undisputed.